Well, hello. I'm your worst client ever. You wanted that money, didn't you? You wanted that money real bad. You ignored your intuition. You sped up the onboarding process. You didn't ask me many questions. And now I'm here to make your life and business a living hell. But I'm paying you, so it's worth it, right?
Yeah, I just fired that client last week. His project was torture. Literally. Hey, it's RKA, and this is another episode of Awkward Marketing. Because marketing your small business can be awkward, sometimes awful. I'll help you make it awesome. In the early days of business, the name of the game is clients. Any clients. If they've got money, you've got stuff to sell them. Then you get some experience, you start making money, and along comes your first nightmare client. They're in your inbox 24/7 with a cute combination of inane questions and outrageous demands. Love it. They defy your process every step of the way, always coming up with reasons why their project is the exception to each and every rule you put in place. They don't pay you on time or at all, but they still want their stuff yesterday. They're mean. They're critical. They're hard to get a hold of when you need them, but they always manage to track you down at the most inappropriate times. They've got champagne taste and a water budget. And no matter how hard you work and how far you bend over backwards to please them, they're never satisfied. This nightmare client won't only cost you your sanity, they could cost you your business. And that's why in today's episode, I'm talking about vetting your clients before you make a sale just as much, if not more, as they vet you. Now, you might be thinking, hey, RKA, sounds like you need a thicker skin. Clients are difficult. Deal with it. And sure, dealing with people is always a challenge. Anytime you have many sets of expectations, some friction is bound to occur. And it's your job as the leader of your business to prepare for and manage that friction. But when I talk about vetting your clients before working with them, I'm not saying this for your own comfort level, though that is a valuable and valid thing to protect in and of itself. Vetting your clients is better for them, and it's better for your other clients too. My attitude in business is that I always want each and every person who interacts with my brand to come away with the best solution for them, even if that solution isn't me. Excellent service is at the heart of any business's success. And you can't give excellent service to a client who isn't a good fit. You could give good service, okay service, fine service, but excellent service is nearly impossible to achieve when you're working with someone who doesn't fit with your approach to the work, your policies, your communication style. I could go on all day. So when it comes to a client who just isn't a good fit, the most excellent service I can give them is to point them in the direction of a solution that is a good fit for their needs. Secondly, because working with a client who isn't a good fit drains me and eats up my time and energy, my team's time and energy, it's often my other clients who end up paying for that person's project. If I burn out and my team burns out, not only is that client not getting excellent service, no one is. So, how do you vet your clients to ensure that each and every person you work with is a good fit for them and for you and your business? One, you want to pre-qualify them before a sale is ever on the table. And you can do this in a few ways. In my case, if somebody wants to work with me one-on-one for a design project, I have an application form they have to go through first. And it's not short. Now, I've heard the case time and time again from other colleagues in my field about how I should make my application form shorter, how I should make it easier for people to work with me. But every time I do this, I end up working with clients who just aren't the right fit for me. In my case, the right client is willing to take the time to fill out my entire application form. And if they're not, bye. Another way you can do this is in the copy and content on your website leading up to a sale. So often we want to hide the ball on what's really included in a product or package just so we can make the sale. This is what leads to mismanaged expectations and, yep, you guessed it, nightmare clients. The first step to pre-qualifying your clients is managing their expectations before they're ever on a sales call with you or in your shopping cart. Step 2, you want to have multiple interactions with the client before the sale. I've heard this described as dating the client before you marry them. And this is especially important if you do long-term one-on-one work, but there are ways to implement this even if you're just selling products. In my case, you already know that a client needs to fill out an application before I'm willing to meet with them. Then we meet for a discovery call where I'm figuring out their needs and we're getting a feel for our rapport, but I still don't give them a price or a proposal at this point. I schedule another call where I walk them through their proposal and all the options to working together. We're having multiple interactions before a sale is ever on the table, and this time together helps us figure out if we're a good fit, and if a client isn't willing to meet for these interactions, that's a red flag that they're just not the right client for me. Now, if you're selling a product, this is where your funnel comes in. You might have multiple touch points in your funnel before you ever send a client to a sales page. Again, this is a great way to manage their expectations and ensure that they're the right customer for you and your product. Number 3, implement rules of engagement in your sales process. You might use a certain communication tool to meet for calls or ask them to prepare something for your meeting. It might be something as simple as asking some questions via email and seeing how and if they answer. This helps you see if they're willing to follow your lead, flow with your processes, or if they're going to fight you every step of the way. Step 4, do your research. Just as they're researching you, looking up reviews, reading testimonials, checking you out on social media, you want to do the same. Google them. Check them out on social media. Look at their interactions with other businesses online. Do they leave lots of negative reviews? Are they hostile with people on social media? These things can be red flags, and this is what Google is for, folks, so do your research. At the end of the day, all revenue is not created equal. Nightmare clients come with hidden costs that might put you in debt at the end of the project. You have the right as the leader of your business to choose who's a good fit, just as your clients choose to work with you. Ignore me, and you could be making a deal with the devil.